The world of knights, princesses, monsters, gnomes, and dragons aren't new. They've existed in media such as films and video games as far as the late 1920s. Novels like The Citadel of Fear, Lord of the Rings, Coraline, and many more are filled with dark fantasy. So why is it that dark fantasy AI trends have been on the rise? Could it be the elevating nostalgic music? Could it be your curiosity in finding out what character you are based on your birth month? Oh man, I got the gnome! Could it be the textured scenery that's reminiscent of classic 80s movies? Maybe it's all of them combined to create a magical world you only see in your childhood dreams. This is the best of dark fantasy. There's this scene where a wounded character by the name of Guts is in deep thought under the starry night. There's something lonely yet beautiful about the scene as he decides not to join his comrades celebrating without him. The scene represents a lot from the character of Guts, as he's an avoidant and feels like he doesn't belong anywhere. The scene is very quiet, serene and peaceful as his love interest Casca approaches him. Moments like this in Berserk are rare. In fact, the scene lasts 6 minutes and the next episode already has the main cast in the battlefield of war. Berserk is a story filled with violence and cruelty. It's set in a world where there are constantly monsters that terrorize villages and greedy humans that take advantage of others. It's a cruel representation of the worst of humanity. If you haven't noticed, a lot of media has picked up inspiration from Berserk, such as Final Fantasy, the entire Souls trilogy, Attack on Titan, and many more. However, beneath all the crazy and violent themes, Berserk is a story about people. Guts is a man who grew up as an orphan and was taken in by his adoptive father Gambino. Gambino later then sold Guts at an early age to be sexually abused. As expected, this caused Guts to grow up traumatized. He became a lone warrior who only cares and protects himself. However, the beauty of Berserk showed that Guts can overcome not just his physically gruesome fights, but also his fights with his inner demons. The story of Berserk is filled with so much dread and angst that it feels so rewarding to see Guts open up again to people, overcoming not only his violence, but finding gentleness. If you Google Berserk, you'll be quick to find imagery of dark, bloody battles, and that's kind of what it is. Berserk is about fighting demons, monsters, and wars, but if you look closely, it's also about fighting destiny, inner trauma, and human vulnerability. And if you look close enough, you'll see a visual representation of what it means to grow. Ask me what's the best way to experience dark fantasy, and I'll immediately tell you to play any of the Souls games. I mean, just look at it. 90% of the game is what the AI trend looks like. This time though, you get to actually play and interact in the world as if you're there. The game really speaks for itself. The visuals are so mind-boggling, it's crazy. And also you're gonna see a lot of Berserk references here. It's really impressive. Miyazaki really created a world filled with his favorite inspirations. And as a Berserk fan, it's such a treat to feel like your Guts in Elden Ring. The only complaint I really have about Souls games is that it's too bleak and depressing. 99% of the game has lore that will make you lose hope in anything. I'd say for all the Souls games, Elden Ring probably has the most optimistic side to it with areas like Limgrave. It basically feels like a lighter fantasy vibe as opposed to the rest of the series, which is basically dark fantasy on steroids. For those that are looking for a relaxing fantasy game to play, you're gonna have to look in a different direction, cause the Soulsborne games are extremely difficult and unfair. However, that's their charm. You'd think annoying bosses would be enough to turn me off in the game, but I replayed Bloodborne 5 times and I still enjoy it. Amidst all the big budget blockbusters we see today filled with CGI and arguably no soul, the film Labyrinth is a fresh breath of air. Its visuals are a great representation of an older time where practical effects were used more often.
You're a worm, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't by any chance know the way through this labyrinth, do you?
Oh, me? Nah, I'm just a worm.
Oh.
The innovative puppetry and practical effects draw childhood wonder that reminds me of my childhood films like earlier Star Wars films. The creatures and set designs create an enchanting yet eerie atmosphere. While a lot of scenes have shown to age badly, it's no denying that Labyrinth is made with a lot of heart.
It's a piece of cake!
The plot is simple and oftentimes predictable, but there are a lot of tropes that still surprised me. This film has a lot of filmmaking techniques that you just don't see today being used as often. It makes you wonder, with all the technology we have to create films today, did we lose the charm and creativity of making camera magic tricks that make children go, how did they make that happen? Nowadays, when something cool happens on screen, everyone just says, oh, it's probably CGI. And CGI is great, but the genuinity of films like this is special and irreplaceable. All in all, dark fantasy is an amazing trend and one of the better things that came from TikTok. Whether it's video games, anime or manga, or films, it's no secret that dark fantasy brings a nostalgic feeling of awesomeness.